Don, how do you feel, Don?
How you feeling, Don?
Don? How do you feel?
Watch your step, everybody. Steps. Steps coming up. Watch your step. Watch your step.
Last night, the DOJ sent a team of federal agents to arrest me in the middle of the night for something that I've been doing for the last 30 years, and that is covering the news. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects that work for me and for countless of other journalists who do what I do. I stand with all of them, and I will not be silent. I look forward to my day in court. Thank you all.
Reflect on what was clearly not a peaceful event that just stormed your church. What do you say to those agitators?
I'll say now what I said then. It was a shameful moment. It's not the way.
Y'all see when them people invaded that church the other day? Now, I just want to say to protesters and all of them, don't do that here. Amen. Don Lemon, don't come here. You roll up in this church doing stuff like that, and it's going to be the Royal Rumble.
Welcome back to the King Josiah TV podcast, where the show is created to educate, promote, and influence the kingdom of Jesus Christ in this world. I am your host, Josiah, guys. But before we get started, if you're new here, I need you to do me a huge favor. Go ahead and smash the subscribe button right below. Go ahead and hit the like button for me. It helps this channel grow and go out to more people like yourself. But you're listening audibly on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Go ahead and give me the follow. But all right, guys, let's go on and jump into today's show.
Already flexing my God and all of his authority. Practice was preaching purity, priority. Can't conform to it even if majority choose to go that way. God has been restoring me. They grilling the boy, cause I won't let them George forming me. Try to put me in a box, I got off the ropes, I won't let them corner me. God has been warning me, tell his people ain't no room for lukewarming me. Order me, Lord, it be your will, it never was mine. Like Amazon Prime, his turnaround time around prayer.
All right, guys. So a controversial subject. Don Lemon recently, because we guys, we've had all the ICE situations, and to be honest with you guys, I was kind of hesitant on whether I was going to cover some of these things with the whole ICE stuff. We know just recently, a week ago, the young gentleman that was a nurse was shot and killed in Minneapolis. We had the lady that drove off, I believe this was in Minneapolis as well, that got in front of ICE agents, was shot and killed in her car. So there's been a lot of instances pertaining to ICE, and I was like, I don't know if I truly want to cover this, if there's anything fruitful from this. But Don Lemon's recent case, he decided to enter in a church that I believe, from my knowledge, this church, there was a pastor or a leader in the church that was an ICE agent, and they decided to stage and going in this church, and Don Lemon tried to lie and act like he had nothing to do with it or didn't know about it. He was just reporting, but he recently got arrested because he was along with this protest. And so he recently got arrested. He's got some charges against him. So we're going to just break down some of those things, because regardless of what you say and regardless of what he tries to say, it was wrong. You don't go inside of a church and protest. This is a holy place, a place of worship, a place where believers come to worship God. And if there was any other religion, it would have been a problem. But Christianity, people think they can play around with it. So I'm glad that they dropped the hammer on him. In some cases, people might say this might make Don Lemon more famous because now he's a martyr. But, let's go ahead and listen. Guys, I'm going to bring up first what he said after he got arrested a few days ago.
Hey, down in the front, watch out.
Down in front and clear it. Let him out. Come on, guys.
We love you guys!
Told you guys, they're going to turn him into a martyr. Like, some of this stuff, to be honest with you, by him being arrested, they're going to make him more popular in some instances. And he's probably going to make money off this, and his videos are going to go viral. comes with it. But I do believe that, what he did wasn't right. We're going to break that down legally, how he had no precedent for that, to be walking in the church and doing those sort of things. Even the people that were with him, that he said he was so-called just covering it. He was doing way more than that. He knew the people. He kissed the woman that was the leader of the protest. He knew it wasn't something he just was walked by and was like, oh, I'm going to cover this today. No, that's not what happened.
Farther, there's a podium.
Don, over here. Don, over here.
Else, get out of the way.
Get out of the way. Clear the way to the podium.
Thank you.
I need sunglasses.
Here, go down.
Okay. How are you? Wow. Can everybody hear me? Are you guys set? Everybody ready? So look, I want to thank everybody for their support. It truly means the world to me. I have no idea what's going on because obviously I haven't seen anything. I have spent my entire career covering the news. I will not stop now. In fact, there is no more important time than right now, this very moment, for a free and independent media that shines a light on the truth and holds those in power accountable. Again, I will not stop now. I will not stop ever. Last night, the DOJ sent a team of federal agents to arrest me in the middle of the night for something that I've been doing for the last 30 years, and that is covering the news. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects that work for me and for countless of other journalists who do what I do. I stand with all of them, and I will not be silenced. I look forward to my day in court. Thank you all.
Yeah, he looks forward to his day in court, but in the same conversation, his day in court isn't going to be a good one. We're going to go over some of these things, guys. But I just want to read a verse from 1 Corinthians 3:16 that talks about, the house of God is sacred. It's not something that you go to make protests. It's not something that you go in to disturb. It provides direct warning against the destruction, defilement of God's house, and stating, if any man defile the temple of God, and that's what he did. When he went to that church, he was defiling the temple of God. He shall be destroyed. The temple of God is holy, which is the temple ye are. The passage emphasizes that believers are considered the temple of God, and treating the holiness with contempt brings judgment. And so, guys, this is something that, again, when it comes to these sort of things, this isn't something that is okay. This isn't something even legal okay. Guys, because it is not legal to go into a church. Protesting inside of a church without permission is not protected by the First Amendment. There's nowhere in that. That's something that he knows that, and it's not okay. And so, what the reason why, guys, is churches are private property. They're not public forums for everybody to just go in and you just have your speech, say what you want. The First Amendment protects this from the government punishment, freedom of speech. It does not give you the right to speak whatever you want in church. This isn't a free-for-all. He could go in there and interview people. He was talking to the pastor and interrupting kids that were trying to get to Sunday church and just being all that and asking them questions and being abrasive. That's wrong. Any other religion, this would have been a problem, but yet he thinks he's standing up on some podium. He's being some righteous person, and it's far from that. And the fact that he even called himself a Christian was beyond me. Don Lemon is the farthest thing from a believer, farthest thing from a Christian. Once you enter a church building, the church sets the rules. You cannot go in there and have a free-for-all. So I just want to play, we're going to continue here. I want to play the pastor. Actually, he just got interviewed on TV as well. And so I want to pull that up because the pastor of the church actually has something to say afterwards. So I really want to get his word on it too.
City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota is considering legal action after anti-ICE activists stormed their church last week. Watch.
Renee Good. Renee Good.
Who you hear in the background, guys? That's low Donnie. Don Lemon is in the background, but yet he was just there to report. You're protesting with them.
Unbelievable. Joining us are Jonathan Parnell, lead pastor at Cities Church, Minnesota, who was leading worship when those anti-ICE agitators stormed the church, and the church's attorney, Renee Carlson, general counsel for True North Legal. Thank you for being here. Pastor, let me start with you. Now that you've had a week to reflect on what was clearly not a peaceful event that just stormed your church, what do you say to those agitators after a week's sort of reflection?
Yeah, Griff, first, thank you for having us on the show. And I just want to emphasize that the heartbeat of our church is the worship of Jesus. And so we like to say that Sunday is the best day of the week. And we gather on Sundays, like we did January 18th, to worship Jesus. And it was actually in the highest and holiest point of our service that someone began to approach me and begin to yell at me. And that was very unsettling. Several folks at that moment actually scattered, fearful that it was a shooter situation. Children were obviously terrorized. Mothers were terrorized. The group began to just kind of emerge. And
that's my issue with a lot of these, man, these leftist people, man. Like, they're freaking crazy. I'm sorry. Like, they act belligerent. They do things crazy. They act out of emotion. You're scaring kids. You're running into a church in the middle of worship service. Again, if you're not invited by the church legally, you're trespassing. Unless you were invited, you are trespassing. Like, there's nothing legally okay about any of this.
Chant with anger. They tried to incite violence among our men. Several people were taking cover. And, I'll say now what I said then. It was a shameful moment. It's not the way.
Yeah, and some of those agitators really physically getting in your space and shoving you. That included Don Lemon. Did you have any message directly for Don Lemon?
Yeah, my message for Don Lemon, my message for the agitators, it's that one thing I think that we have in common with at least some of the people who came into our building is that we're heartbroken over what's happening in our cities right now. There's a lot of pain in our cities, and we need healing. We're asking for God to send healing, and we believe that healing comes ultimately in Jesus Christ. And so what we preach is that God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten son, that whoever believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life. And so my message to those agitators, my message to the governor of our state, to the state attorney general, my message to both mayors of our cities is to turn from your sin, trust in Jesus Christ, and be saved. He is our only hope.
Renee, let's talk about legal actions that Cities Church may be considering. Walk us through it.
Well, before we get to that, I just want to set the tone here. In Minnesota, we have a state attorney general who has been completely hostile in this situation, who is siding with agitators. And not only that, is mocking the church. There is absolutely no constitutional right, no First Amendment right to invade a church. At the end of this service, or at the end of this protest and ambush on the church, we had these agitators saying, "Who shut this down? We shut this down." That is
Like, they know exactly what they were doing. Like she said, the penalties for this varies from it's a misdemeanor, fines up to $100 to $1,000 plus. There's possible jail time up to 30 years and up to 30 days to up to a year. Typically the language is you're willfully disturbing and interrupting religious assembly. So guys, the church is not open to the public or for protest. That's false. And neither is it open to the public or public forum. The court is pretty clear on this. Guys, inside of a church is almost always illegal without permission. Outside on the public sidewalks is usually, considered peaceful. They didn't stay outside. They were on the sidewalk. They weren't outside the church saying things with pitchfork, with, signs and things. No, they went into the church and disrupt a service. Guys, so these things it's a legal risk, and whoever set this up, they knew that. There's misdemeanor charges, arrests, fines, and possible jail time. So for them to move forward in doing something like this and thinking that it's okay, I mean, to me, it's like, what did you think was going to come of this, Don Lemon? What did you think of this was going to come? Did you think that you were going to walk into this church, cause an uproar, try to incite fights amongst the men and different people, and it was just going to be hunky dory, and you was going to get a good little YouTube video and some good hype online? You know what I'm saying? And push things. Yeah, okay, yes, the distress and things that are going on, the killings. No one, even a believer, thinks these things are okay. But in the same conversation, you guys are standing up for things. And I'm not going to get into too deep into this, but pertaining to, you know, the whole ICE situation, you guys are standing up for things against people that are illegally here. They're illegally here. If you look into all the cases, these people, they're not arresting and getting people that are just good people. No, these people are people with records. These are people with bad backgrounds. These are people that are rapists, people that are a threat to the American people. And you're standing up against them and acting like ICE is the bad one when you're obstructing justice. So the last verse I want to read, guys, we're going to move on here, is Romans 13:1-2. Let every person be subject to the governing authorities. That's ICE as well. For there is no authority except God, and that those who exist have been instituted by God. All the authority, the governing authorities, Trump, the Republicans, all parties that you guys do not like, have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authority resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. So I'm going to leave that with you guys. We pray for the people that have been affected by the church, even the people that have passed pertaining to these ICE situations, distress in our country. And I know God's going to bring us out of this. But guys, these things can't be handled this way. And, you know, the people that have walked into the church, I hope they get their just due. All right, guys, so we're going to go ahead and end the podcast there. This is King Josiah TV, episode number 45. Guys, I know we talked about some controversial subjects today. I want you guys to argue with me in the comments. Talk back to me. You know, I like to have those sort of conversations with you guys. Guys, but go ahead and join me again. I'm here once a week. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed just yet. If you made it to the end of the podcast, if you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and hit the like. It helps push this out to more people, guys. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you guys for spending time with me again. And again, I will see you next week.
When my salvation on me like it's a helmet. The way you to sin is death for send you to hell quick. Wanted to be all about me, God, I was selfish. I was rebellious, but you didn't